This is some concerning but very important breaking news coming out of South Africa right now, and every woman in our country needs to know about this, so please share this far and wide. A study at the University of Free State has found toxic chemicals in 16 brands of sanitary pads commonly used in South Africa, and these include hormone-disrupting toxins which can eventually cause fertility problems or even cancer. This is a list of the 16 brands that were tested, and every single one of them had at least two of these chemicals found in them. Now, it's important to know that toxins like this have been found in sanitary pads across the world. This isn't unique to South Africa. And while the levels of the toxins and chemicals are quite low, experts warn that long exposure can be very harmful. Now, the big question here is, what is the solution? Well, the leading professor of the study says women must rather purchase menstrual products with this label on them, which is meant to ensure international safety standards. Or the professor says women should look into using reusable sanitary products.
This one is for my South African girls. The pads that you're using and the panty liners that you're using could be disrupting your hormone balance. This is according to a recent study that was conducted by the University of the Free State. So let's talk about it. Hi guys, I'm Lion, the voice of marketing and your friend in all things marketing, brand building, and sometimes pop culture. Now, this video is not to create panic in you. It's simply to inform you about what's going on, because the more informed you are, the better the decisions that you can make. So the University of Free State studied 16 to 17 brands, and in each brand they found that there were low levels of endocrine disrupting materials or chemicals. And this is a cause for concern, not necessarily because if you use their brand once or twice that something's going to happen to you, but there are really serious effects to your health when you use those products / brands over a long period of time.
A new study by the University of the Free State has found that all tested sanitary pads and panty liners contain very low levels of hormone-disrupting chemicals, even some marketed as chemical-free. Now, these chemicals, called endocrine disruptors, can interfere with your hormones over time. But here's the important part. It doesn't mean that your products are now dangerous overnight. The real worry comes from repeated use over many years, since pads touch very sensitive tissue that absorbs chemicals easily. Now, the researchers have reportedly tested 16 pad brands and 7 panty liners, and most of these products tested positive for having these chemicals. Now, for many women, these choices aren't simple, especially underprivileged women who face period poverty and can't afford alternative choices. And for younger girls, menstrual cups are not suitable yet, so pads often remain the only option. Now, the scientists behind this study is calling for better chemical disclosure from manufacturers and more research into long-time exposure so we can fully understand the risks.
Let me understand this. You're saying the sanitary pads and the panty liners that we are wearing, according to the University of the Free State research, the very same sanitary pads that we have in South Africa are interrupting and are harmful to our reproductive system.
For sure.
Here's a story that you and I need to discuss. A study from the University of the Free State has found hormone disrupting chemicals in every sanitary pad and panty liner tested from brands sold in South Africa. It is a study that was done by the University of the Free State. Now, this particular study also found that the hormone disrupting chemicals include within those sanitary pads that are labeled organic or chemical free. So the sanitary pads, the panty liners that are also labeled organic or chemically free, it has been found that they contain hormone disrupting chemicals in every sanitary pad.
The High Court, I beg your pardon, has put the petition seeking to compel two manufacturers to provide accurate information on materials used in the production of their sanitary pads and diapers. The case was filed by lawyer Joseph Mwai, in which he accuses the manufacturer of Always and Cortex sanitary towels, as well as diapers brands Huggies and Pampers, of declaring cotton wool as their primary raw materials, yet they use harmful chemicals predisposing consumers to urinary tract infections and other related diseases.
A shocking discovery has just been made. Parasites invisible to the naked eye have been detected in women's sanitary pads. These microscopic organisms are so small that they can slip through the skin, spreading silently inside the body. Doctors report mysterious infections, unexplained pain, and even internal damage in women who use the products. What's more terrifying is that many of these contaminated pads come from some of the most popular international brands. Health authorities, however, are refusing to confirm the risk, saying only that investigations are underway. But leaked documents suggest the problem may already be far bigger than the public is being told.
So ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you're doing well today, and welcome to the channel. So on today's episode, we're going to be focusing on female reproductive health. So it has been reported currently that 80% of women, especially from the teens up to 30s and 40s, have suffered hormonal imbalance. So recently, we have seen this new study in South Africa that the female reproductive system is being affected by these two brands, allegedly, that is Cortex and Always. So ladies and gentlemen, scientific evidence directly linking the use of Always or Cortex sanitary pads to infertility in human is currently limited, with some claims originating from studies on individuals' ingredients rather than the final product. So with these claims originating from studies, it has been identified that potentially toxic chemicals, including volatile organic compounds, that is the VOCs, and phthalates in various menstrual products, including some Always pads. The impact of this at the lower level of detected on long-term fertility remains unclear rather. So here is a breakdown of the evidence. So chemical exposure findings, this is in 2014 when studies such as those of Women Voice of the Earth and others mentioned in media. So these are some of the chemicals that have been detected so far, that is chloromethane and chloroethane in some pads. Some studies have also found that the phthalates and the VOCs, which are known as endocrine disruptors, in various sanitary napkins. So industry response, this is how they responded. Manufacturers such as Protector and Gamble, those are makers of Always, have stated that these chemicals are present in negligible amount. So safety standards, the US Food and Drug Administration, that is the FDA, regulates these products, and industry representatives state that the materials and designs are reviewed for safety. So here are the risk and infections. So the primary evidence based on risk associated with these sanitary pads is not direct infertility, but rather infection. Those are vaginal, bacterial, or fungal, caused by poor hygiene, improper usage, or leaving pads for too long, or rather more than 6 to 8 hours. They argue about that. So ladies and gentlemen, today I bring to you this question. Normally I feel like we usually have the standard quality mark. Here we call it the KEBS. The Kenya Bureau of Standards need to ensure that all products that is human consumption needs to be up to date, and it needs to be very safe for human consumption. So in this event, whereby a lot of women, especially in the southern part of Africa, have been reporting that once they use the sanitary towel, which are Always and Cortex, they feel some irritations, and some of them are just not feeling well. As we all know, ladies and gentlemen, that women have a lot of problems when it comes to infertility, or rather when it comes to this healthcare, reproductive healthcare, and so on. And here comes my question. I feel like it's so this is like just negligence, I will say so, because when you know that this product is going to be taken to the market, in my head I'm like, it has to be sampled and tested already before it's put there into the market. So ladies and gentlemen, even when we speak about the tampons and all that, some people are arguing that the reusable sanitary towel, the ones that you can recycle rather, are safe, but still again, are they that hygienic for even small kids or small girls to be using in the first place? Even the menstrual cup, is it really safe and hygienic for small girls, I'm talking about small girls, to be using these products at the end of the day? So I feel like before all this comes into existence, also the manufacturers need to give us answers, because at the end of the day, this is not cool. So ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're new here, my name is Yvonne, and to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for staying with me. To my new subscribers, you are welcome to being part of my online family. If you've come across maybe such events where you use a product, especially for the sanitary towels, tell us your experience, and maybe if you have better measures or other ways which other people can benefit from. And remember, this information is not only for ladies, this one is for everyone, because you might be having a sister, you might be having a parent, you might be a father to girls out there. So you need to make sure that the products that these ladies use is of safety. Until next time.